Stop scrolling and take a deep breath. In a 2026 world that moves way too fast, there is nothing more healing than going back to the exact living room couch where we first watched Seventh Heaven. Some of this cast walked away from Hollywood altogether, and what they built instead will genuinely surprise you. Let's pull back the curtain and see where the cast of Seventh Heaven truly is in 2026. We are starting at the very top because, honestly, no one from the Camden family has climbed higher, reinvented herself more boldly, or kept us more riveted than this woman right here. Born on March 3, 1982 in Ely, Minnesota, Jessica Biel was just 14 years old when she first walked into the Camden household as Mary, the bold, athletic, slightly rebellious second child of Reverend Eric Camden. She was barely a teenager. During filming, she was 14 to 24 years old across her seasons. And today, in 2026, Jessica Biel is 44 years old and carrying herself with the kind of power and grace that only comes from truly earning your place. Think about what Mary Camden meant to so many of us. She was the girl who played basketball with everything she had, who stumbled, who got kicked out of college, who found her footing again and again. Mary Camden didn't give us a perfect role model. She gave us something better, a real one. She taught us that falling doesn't mean failing, that the people who love you will still be there when you pick yourself back up. For a generation of girls watching at home who felt like they never quite fit the perfect daughter mold, Mary Camden was a lifeline. Here's a piece of trivia almost nobody talks about. When Biel was just 17, she posed for a daring photo shoot for Gear magazine, and the show's producers were furious. They even considered legal action against the publication. Biel later admitted she did it deliberately, hoping to escape her contract and prove she was more than the minister's daughter. The WB forced her to stay. And looking back now, that tension between who the world wanted her to be and who she was determined to become is the exact tension that forged one of Hollywood's most quietly resilient careers. Because after Seventh Heaven, Jessica Biel did not coast. She starred in The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 2003, The Illusionist, The A-Team, and Total Recall. But her most defining post-Camden chapter arrived in 2017 with The Sinner on USA Network, a psychological murder mystery where she played executive producer and lead actress simultaneously. That double role earned her nominations for both a Golden Globe and a Primetime Emmy Award. She proved she was not just an actress, she was a storyteller. In her personal life, she has been married to global music icon Justin Timberlake since October 2012, and the couple have 2 sons together. And here is the headline that will make every Seventh Heaven fan's heart do a little skip. As of May 2025, Jessica Biel is officially one of the executive producers on a Seventh Heaven reboot, currently in development at CBS Studios. The girl who once tried to escape the Camden house is now one of the people choosing to bring it back. That is not irony. That is full circle magic. If Jessica Biel is the shooting star of this cast, then Barry Watson is its quiet, unshakable North Star. Born April 23, 1974 in Traverse City, Michigan, Barry Watson was 22 years old when he first played Matt Camden, the responsible, long-haired eldest son who was everyone's favorite big brother on television. During his run on Seventh Heaven, he appeared in 155 episodes over 10 seasons. And today, in 2026, Barry Watson is 51 years old, living proof that resilience has a face, and it looks exactly like this. Here's the thing about Matt Camden that made him so extraordinary to watch. He wasn't trying to be cool. He was just trying to be good. He was the big brother who talked to his siblings instead of dismissing them. He was the son who questioned his father without disrespecting him. He was the medical student who juggled ambition with humanity. In an era when male role models on television were either tough guys or comic relief, Matt Camden quietly showed an entire generation of boys that being emotionally present was a superpower. A piece of remarkable trivia. Watson actually refused to cut his signature shaggy hair, even though producers pushed back early in the show's run. His stubbornness paid off. Fans loved the hair, and he became one of the show's breakout heartthrobs almost overnight. He also directed 2 episodes of Seventh Heaven in 2005, showing a creative ambition that went far beyond just showing up to set. But the chapter of Barry Watson's life that truly defines his character happened off-camera. In 2002, during production, he received a devastating diagnosis: Hodgkin's disease, a form of lymphatic cancer. He stepped away from the show to undergo chemotherapy. 1 year later, the cancer was in remission. He returned to Seventh Heaven for its landmark 150th episode, standing in front of the cameras once more with something in his eyes that no acting class could ever teach. He has since spoken openly about how that experience reshaped his entire understanding of what matters. After Seventh Heaven, Watson kept working steadily. What About Brian, 2006 to 2007, Samantha Who, 2007 to 2009, Masters of Sex, 2014, The Loudest Voice, 2019, The Highway to Heaven Lifetime remake in 2021, and the CW series Naomi in 2022. Today, he is a devoted husband to Natasha Gregson Wagner. He married in December 2014 and a father of 3 children. His cancer has been in remission since 2003. He told ABC News that cancer is still such a big part of my life. Not with bitterness, but with the quiet gratitude of a man who knows exactly how precious every single day is. That is 51 years of living fully, and every single one of them has been earned. If you thought those transformations were remarkable, wait until you see what the next 3 members of the Camden family have been quietly building. Stay right here. Oh, Lucy Camden, the drama queen with the biggest heart in Glen Oak, California. The girl who cried at everything, wanted everything, and somehow ended up being the emotional backbone of the entire Camden family. If you grew up watching Seventh Heaven, there was at least one moment where you looked at Lucy and thought, that is literally me. Born January 22, 1981 in Arcadia, California, Beverley Mitchell was 15 years old when she first put on Lucy Camden's oversized sweaters and launched into the most dramatic monologue of the week. Fun fact that blew my mind: Beverley Mitchell is actually 14 months older than Jessica Biel in real life, but she played the younger sister on screen for 11 years. Acting, people. It is a remarkable art form. Today, in 2026, Beverley Mitchell is 45 years old and thriving in ways that are as warm and layered as Lucy herself. Here is a behind-the-scenes detail that feels almost poetic. Mitchell and Biel, on-screen sisters, absolutely drove each other crazy during filming. Mitchell herself admitted they used to butt heads constantly and literally want to battle. But fast forward to today, and she calls Biel her real-life sister. The show that made them rivals made them family. That is the most Seventh Heaven thing I have ever heard. After the show wrapped, Beverley proved she was far more than one character. She appeared in Saw 2, 2000, a jarring pivot from Reverend's daughter to horror film survivor that showed real range. She pursued her lifelong love of country music, releasing a self-titled album in 2007, co-writing 8 of its songs. One track, Angel, was a tribute to a close friend she lost in a car accident as a teenager. That kind of tenderness, that refusal to let grief go unexpressed, is pure Lucy Camden energy. Except it was entirely, authentically, Beverley. She has been married to her husband, Michael Cameron, since October 2008, and they have 3 children together, daughters Kenzie and Maisel, and son Hutton. In 2018, Beverley bravely opened up publicly about suffering a miscarriage while pregnant with twins, becoming a voice of raw, honest compassion for countless women navigating that silent grief. And in 2024, she launched the Seventh Heaven Rewatch podcast, Catching Up with the Camdens, alongside former co-stars David Gallagher and Mackenzie Rosman, giving fans the ultimate gift of hearing the siblings reflect on the show they grew up making together. Now here is a story that proves Hollywood is not the only finish line worth crossing. Born February 9th, 1985 in College Point, New York, David Gallagher literally started his career at 2 years old, appearing in print ads for brands like Walt Disney World, Burger King, and Panasonic. By the time he joined Seventh Heaven as Simon Camden at age 11, he was already a seasoned professional. During his run, he appeared in 197 episodes. Today, in 2026, David Gallagher is 41 years old, and his story has taken a beautifully unexpected turn. Simon Camden was the middle sibling everyman, entrepreneurial, curious, sometimes in trouble, always trying to figure himself out. In many ways, watching Simon grow up on screen felt like watching a whole generation of kids process what it meant to become an adult in real time. He wasn't the coolest or the most rebellious. He was just real. And that authenticity translated into a connection with audiences that has never entirely faded. Here is one of the most quietly remarkable facts about Gallagher's career. He is also the voice of Riku in the beloved Kingdom Hearts video game series, a role he has reprised across multiple major titles since 2002, including Kingdom Hearts 3 in 2019. That's a whole second generation of fans who know his voice intimately without ever knowing his face. After Seventh Heaven, he guest-starred on Numbers, Smallville, and The Vampire Diaries, showing genuine versatility as a performer. But the chapter of Gallagher's life I want to celebrate most? He left Hollywood. He went to the University of Southern California, earned his degree, became a father, twice over now, with 2 daughters, and stepped back from the spotlight to be present for his family. He now also streams on Twitch, achieving partner status in 2025, connecting with fans over gaming with the same ease and warmth he once brought to Simon Camden's storylines. And in 2024, he showed up at 90s Con in Hartford, Connecticut, bald, bearded, fully himself, and reminded every fan in that room that growing up is not the same as disappearing. While some cast members stayed in the spotlight, our next star made a choice that took real courage. Every great family needs a heartbeat. On Seventh Heaven, that heartbeat was Annie Camden, and the woman behind her, Catherine Hicks, brought decades of extraordinary craft to a role that millions of people simply accepted as real. Born August 6, 1951 in New York City, Catherine Hicks was already 44 years old and a seasoned, critically acclaimed actress when she joined Seventh Heaven in 1996. She was 55 when the show ended. And today, in 2026, Catherine Hicks is 74 years old. A woman who gave this show everything it needed to feel like home, and then stepped away on her own terms with quiet dignity. Long before Annie Camden, Catherine Hicks had earned an Emmy Award nomination for playing Marilyn Monroe in the 1980 TV film Marilyn, The Untold Story. She played Dr. Gillian Taylor in Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, a role so beloved that Star Trek fans still bring it up to her on the street. She starred in Child's Play, yes, the Chucky movie, proving that Annie Camden's warmth lived inside a woman with an extraordinary dramatic range. She arrived at Seventh Heaven not as a lucky newcomer, but as a master at the height of her powers. Annie Camden's greatest gift to the audience wasn't the lessons she delivered. It was the way she listened. In scene after scene, Annie Camden modeled something quietly radical for family television. A mother who took her children's pain seriously, who didn't dismiss or minimize, who showed up again and again with patience that felt hard-won and genuine. For viewers who didn't always have that in their own homes, Annie Camden was a kind of surrogate warmth that slipped through the screen and stayed. Since Seventh Heaven ended, Catherine Hicks has appeared in several TV films and did voice work as recently as 2020. In 2023, she told TMZ plainly, "I don't act anymore." She lives quietly with her husband, Kevin Yeager, a celebrated special effects artist who famously designed the original Chucky doll, which means Annie Camden literally married the man who made Chucky. If that is not the most wonderfully surprising fun fact of this entire video, I don't know what is. At 74, Catherine Hicks has chosen peace, family, and privacy. And after 11 seasons of holding a TV family together, she has earned every single quiet moment of it. Ruthie Camden was the baby of the Camden family. The sharp-tongued, wise beyond her years little girl who could outlogic every adult in the room and make you love her for it. She was the child character that other child characters on TV simply could not compete with. Born December 28, 1989 in Los Angeles, Mackenzie Rosman was just 6 years old when she auditioned for Seventh Heaven in 1996. Here is the trivia that says everything about her. During that audition, she walked into the room and personally shook hands with every single person present. At 6 years old. She booked the role immediately. Today, in 2026, Mackenzie Rosman is 36 years old, and her life has unfolded with the same authentic spirit that made Ruthie Camden so unforgettable. Off-screen, Rosman is one of the most genuinely big-hearted people in this entire cast. Her stepsister, Caitlin, lived with cystic fibrosis, a condition the writers even built into a special episode of Seventh Heaven. Mackenzie became a tireless advocate for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and serving as national honorary chairwoman for Cure Finders. She also became a competitive equestrian show jumper, riding her horse Mentos Jr. in jumping competitions, which is possibly the most distinctly, beautifully Ruthie Camden hobby that could exist. After Seventh Heaven, Rosman appeared in several independent films and horror projects, guest starred on The Secret Life of the American Teenager, has stayed beautifully connected to her fellow cast members. In 2022, she became a mother, welcoming a daughter named Ophelia Caitlin, and in 2024, she joined the Catching Up with the Camdens podcast alongside Beverley Mitchell and David Gallagher, bringing Ruthie's voice back into the conversation with all the warmth and wit that made her iconic. She's chosen a life of purpose over pageantry, and it suits her perfectly. And now we come to the youngest members of the Camden family, the twins, Sam and David, who were, in one of television's most charming behind-the-scenes secrets, played by a set of real-life quadruplets. The Brino quadruplets, Lorenzo, Nikolas, Mirinda, and Zachary, were just 5 months old when they were cast on Seventh Heaven in 1999. All four initially rotated through the roles of the Camden twins to allow the babies to rest between scenes. By the 4th season, as the children grew and their appearances began to diverge, only Lorenzo and Nikolas continued. Lorenzo as Sam, Nikolas as David. They were born September 21, 1998 in Woodland Hills, Los Angeles. The Brino family's parents made a deliberate, loving decision throughout the show's run. Their children would have as normal a childhood as possible. No relentless auditions, no Hollywood machine. Just the show they were already on, filmed with care, and then home for dinner. In many ways, Sam and David Camden's life on screen, running through the Camden house, growing from babies to boys, mirrored the Brino twins' actual childhood. There was something beautifully unperformed about their presence. They weren't acting like kids. They were kids. Today, in 2026, Nikolas Brino is 27 years old. He has stepped entirely away from the entertainment industry and chosen a private life away from the spotlight, and we respect that journey entirely. The show was his childhood, and what he does with his adulthood belongs only to him. Growing up on camera in front of millions of people is something very few humans have ever experienced, and the grace of choosing privacy afterward is a gift he has given himself. We honor that quietly and completely. But we cannot complete this journey without honoring the true heartbeat of the show. One of the youngest members of the Camden family who carried childhood joy into millions of living rooms and left us far too soon. Lorenzo Brino. The boy who played Sam Camden, one half of the show's beloved twin baby brothers, was born on September 21st, 1998 in Woodland Hills, California. He was just 5 months old when he first appeared in front of a camera on Seventh Heaven. By the time the series ended in 2007, he had spent the first 9 years of his life as part of one of television's most beloved families. He was 10 years old when the show wrapped, just beginning to understand the size of the gift he had given to audiences everywhere. On March 9th, 2020, Lorenzo Antonio Brino passed away in a car accident near Yucaipa, California. He was 21 years old. His co-stars were devastated. Beverley Mitchell, who spent years watching him grow from a baby on set into a young man, wrote, "My heart is broken for his family. So many fun memories watching them grow up, just devastating. Ripzo, you were full of light and will not be forgotten." His sister, Mirinda, wrote, "You brought light to so many lives, and you did so much with the too short of a life that you had." Lorenzo never went back to acting after Seventh Heaven. His only screen credit is the show that was also his entire childhood. And yet, that one credit, those 9 years of appearing on one of the most watched family dramas in television history, means that a part of Lorenzo Brino lives on in every rerun that still airs, in every fan who remembers the Camden twins tumbling through the living room, in every parent who showed their own child this show years later and watched those little faces light up the screen again. He may be gone, but his magic is eternal, living on in every rerun, every quote, and every smile he brought to our childhood living rooms. Before you go anywhere, I need you to stay for just one more moment, because this family deserves a proper send-off. First, a trivia question for the true Seventh Heaven fans in the room. In the show's highest-rated episode ever, Season 3, Episode 14, titled "In Praise of Women," which Camden sibling sang the twins to sleep in that unforgettable final scene? Was it A, Mary, or B, Lucy? Drop your answer in the comments right now. No cheating. Second, let's do a quick living room roll call. What exact year were you born? And how old were you when you first watched Seventh Heaven on that living room couch? Tell me in the comments. I genuinely want to know the ages of this community because I think we are going to find out just how many generations this show truly touched. And third, here is the beautiful truth. We grew up right alongside this cast. From babies in bundlers to adults building their own families, they were there for all of it. If you could go back in time to the exact living room where you first watched Seventh Heaven, who would you want sitting on the couch next to you one more time? Honor your loved ones in the comments below and subscribe, because we will keep coming back to these golden memories together for as long as you'll have us. The Camden family taught us something we still carry, that love is messy and imperfect and worth every difficult conversation. That family isn't just who you're born to, it's who shows up. And after all these years, so did you.